The next card is the Temperance card. And the Temperance card is connected to the Hebrew letter Samek. Samek means to support or to prop up. And the card depicts the angel of the Lord who supports the Israelites from leaving Egypt and escaping out, crossing the Red Sea, or it's also known as the Sea of Reeds. And that's why you see reeds with the yellow iris flowers in the back. And so he parts the sea and then leads the people through the sea into the pathway that leads through the wilderness all the way out and up to Mount Sinai that's in the back. And so, in a nutshell, the card is basically always about moving from one location where it's not really filling your life purpose. And then you get to go into a new location where you're more aligned with your destiny, life purpose, and also what will lead you to a life that's more fulfilling for you. The word temperance is, it always means about restriction and just not overindulging. But it's also about controlling your temper within the symbols on the card. And it's knowing that everything is temporary, just like your temper and your temperament. But whenever you have to go and transition from one place to the next, it can be very stressful and a lot of annoyances, frustrations, and a lot of doubt and fear. And so it's just letting you know that this is just temporary and to try to control your emotions and your temperament while you're transitioning through this type of situation in your life. And you'll even see the angel who has his the vessels, and it looks like liquid going in and out or back and forth through the vessels, but it's really that energy, and it's trying to just go back and forth of like their male and female energy, your sun and your moon, which is a lot of the theme inside this card. And this card hangs from the Tree of Life pathway that hangs from Tiferet down to Yesod. And Tiferet is ruled by the sun, and Yesod is ruled by the moon. And the two angels, the sun is Raphael, and then he's the male energy. And then the female energy, the moon, is Gabriel. And so here in this card, you have the two angels forged as one, and it's the male and female energies, those two opposing polarities. And it's all about controlling your energies and the two parts of you, the male and female, while you're transitioning through a temperamental state and through one place where you thought that was like this the standard, and then you get shifted out of that and you got to start a new way. So it's all about controlling the energies that are just going all throughout your whole body and stress levels as you transition into a new place. But that new place is always meant to be better than the last and aligns you with your life purpose, which is way more fulfilling. When the Israelites they left Egypt, they had to go into the wilderness desert, and they started their new life in these temporary living tents, and they're called sukkahs. And so a sukkah, just like the first word samek, the S, and there was also the temple, and so the temple was also a tent, which was just a temporary building, just like their tents that they lived in. The sukkahs were temporary as well, and they always had to like break down their house and then build back up and keep moving forward closer and closer to the promised land. And they had to break down and build up, break down and build up, and keep moving. And according to this story inside the Temperance card, it's like whenever you break down, you got to build back up again. But each time you build back up, you build back stronger. And the card's a lot about like when you go to a new place, you got to start over, but you slowly pick up the pieces. What's interesting about the Temperance card also is that it's number 14. And in the Bible, in Exodus 14, it talks and explains about the story of how God took the Israelites, or even Moses takes the Israelites out of Egypt and into the promised land, and just starts the whole journey through the Red Sea. In the Hebrew Bible, the Red Sea is referred to as the Sea of Reeds, as you just see the reeds in the background with the yellow iris flowers. And the Sea of Reeds is known as Yom Suf, or Saf, Yom Suf, which means Sea of Reeds. And then you'll see how it's a little bit lower and not a huge freaking like ocean-sized sea. And so he takes the Israelites through the Sea of Reeds, and then on the pathway through the wilderness, all the way up to Mount Sinai in the back. And in the background, you'll see the mountain that has a huge sun over it. And so the Mount Sinai in the Bible is really the mountain of God, and just like how it's referred to, it depends on what it's called. For instance, if it's on the more receiving end, Mount Sinai, and Mount Sinai is named after the Mesopotamian god of the moon, which is Sin. And so it's the moon is about receiving. It's a more feminine energy. And so it's like Moses received the Ten Commandments. He received the Torah on Mount Sinai. And then whenever Moses is at Mount Sinai and he's delivered a message and maybe a mission and told what he should do and the actions he should take, then it's referred to as Mount Horeb. And Horeb, it means glowing heat, and it's a reference to the sun. And so it's the action of taking action, and that sun, male energy, and fire. And so when Moses, he was at the mountain and he saw the burning bush, and through the through the burning bush, he told Moses that he had to go back to Egypt and go save his people and get them out and escape. And he would have a plan. And so it was like being told what to do. And so sometimes even the mountain is referred to as simply the mountain of God. And you can tell it's the mountain of God because it has exactly 45 sun rays around it. And 45 connects to the word Jehovah, which is God. And Jehovah is a four-letter name of God that's written across the heart of the angel on the Temperance card. And those four letters equal the value of 26 in Hebrew numerology. And when you break it down even further, when you spell out each of those letters in a word form, then it accumulates a lot more letters, and the number of it becomes 45. Like for instance, like the first letter is Yod, and Yod is spelled Y-O-D. And so when you add up the Y, the O, and the D, you get a certain number, and then you do that for each of the letters. Like the Hey is H-E, and then the Vav, V-A-V, and then the last Hey is H-E again. And then you add up all the numerical values of these letters, and you get 45. And so 45 is synonymous with Jehovah, and we see it all the time throughout the Rider-Waite tarot. And above this sun is 45 sun rays, just like the sun in the Lover's card that also has 45 sun rays. It just shows how it's the mountain of Horeb, which is the mountain in the back of the Lover's card. And so this angel of the Lord is taking the people and to the mountain of God. And then it just shows how he is like he's like a representation of God. And the people also, they would write the forename of God, Jehovah, above their hearts as well. And they would also put it on their homes. And they would invite God inside their home, and the home would be a temple. And they would also, when they wrote it over their hearts on their own like clothes, then they would act pure and clean and be a home for God, or like a vessel for the light of the Creator. And so their body would become a temple as well. And so whenever they go from one place that they thought that was comfortable, and they thought they were doing okay, but then they were told, no, you got to go to a whole nother location, and it's going to be very difficult, but you'll have to be broken spiritually, but we'll build you back up stronger. And so they become a stronger and bigger vessel that can hold more light and become better, bigger channels of light for the Creator. It's kind of like just experiencing that Tower card energy, that ego death, of being told that you are kind of living a life that is not filling your purpose, but we got a plan for you to escape this place and go to a new place where you'll actually be aligned with your destiny. And so it is an ego blow, and it's like being rocked spiritually. But this card is kind of like the card after that energy, where now the angel transitions you and goes on this journey in a long distance, and into a new place where you really connect to your destiny and to the right path for you. And this card is connected to Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is known for long distance travel and also being lucky in long distance travel, and also all about having angels look over your shoulder and guide you and guard you and bless you. So it's like being blessed in long distance travel, or just simply being blessed when you move and transition from one place to the next and have optimism that the new place is going to be better than the last and you'll be living a more fulfilling life. And it might be a bumpy road or difficult in the beginning, but it'll break you and you'll slowly be able to pick up the pieces and then you'll become a larger vessel to hold more light and more spiritual energy and to be at like a higher frequency and vibration. And then another thing all about that being at higher uh, vibration is that this angel of the Lord in the Temperance card, he has rays around his head and it's exactly 42. 42 is a huge number in Kabbalah. It's connected to this prayer called the Anabakoa that has 42 words inside of it. And there's the first 42 letters inside the Torah is how it's the real 42 letter name of God. And so the Anabakoa goes with these 42 letters, but it begins a word with each of the letters. And so then you accumulate 42 words based on the 42 letters. That was real like this really most powerful Kabbalistic prayer. And it's all about having your chakras raised all through your Kabbalah tree of life or your spiritual map within you. And so it's all about rising yourself up, building yourself up, and raising your soul vibration. And so the angel of the Lord is someone who's trying to control those energies within you with that opposing polarities of male and female. And you have the Hermetic marriage come within you and it raises your spiritual vibration. And then with that, you get optimism, confidence, you feel super balanced and solid. And you feel like uh, you can go out and do anything and you can endure any situation, especially having to do such a big life change from moving from one place to the next and having to start over and pick up the pieces. In the Temperance card, I do see a lot with just like a practical like readings with people where it shows how you'll be moving to a new location and you'll be blessed and it'll be better for you. And this new location could be one person who moves in with somebody else, one person who moves to like a one business into a different location. It could be people that are finally moving in together and they're starting a whole new life, building, picking up the pieces. So this house, maybe if you're living in it for a long time, you get a new person coming in, and now it feels like a whole new home because the whole new vibe has been shifted, and you kind of got to start over. And then now it's like, what's our reality basically like because two of us live together, and it's way different, and I got to like get accustomed to this. So it's all still a starting over kind of vibe. Oh, there's one more thing. There's the triangle with a square over it or around it on the angel. And the triangle it represents the Holy Trinity. And so it's like having that God within you, through the Trinity, and it's just having it over your heart and feeling solid with that and one with that. And the square always represents earth, and the triangle is spirit. And so the square is earth. And so you're squaring the spirit and you're learning how to conquer earthly situations and earthly problems. And you're just keeping a solid spirit as you're handling real world drama and situations. But you can do that when your elevation of your soul energy is raised because you're using that power of the 42, which is the Anavakoa, and it's connects you with the spirit of all things or even your guides, your angels, and then they help you and guide you as you go from one location into the next.